Hi, I'm attorney Greg Dell, joined by attorney Jason Macri. And Jason, we have the opportunity today to discuss one of your resolved long-term disability insurance cases against Hartford. And this is a victory that you had on a recent appeal. So we want to hear about the background of your case, why the claimant was denied, how you won the appeal, and then provide some tips for people so they can learn how to prevent their benefits from getting denied, and also reach out to either you or myself to get help if they've been denied.
Our client is a 48-year-old senior account executive for a midsize corporation. She was having mental health issues. So she initially went out on disability based on her mental health. She was having panic attacks, anxiety, depression. Her psychiatrist was very supportive. He observed her having episodes with heavy breathing during her panic attacks, belabored breathing, and she seemed to be really suffering.
What kind of work was she in?
She was a senior account executive for a corporation. So a very demanding job, and she just simply was not able to do it. Hartford paid her for 1 month of long-term disability benefits before they denied her.
So that was 1 month after a 180-day elimination period?
That's right. She was paid on her short-term disability completely and then paid 1 month of long-term disability.
What's kind of unusual is that they said, we're going to approve you for 1 month of long-term disability, as opposed to just not even approving her for the long-term disability, which basically says, hey, we think you were disabled for the elimination period and then another 30 days, but then you happen to get better 7 months in, but you weren't better 30 days ago. So that's a little strange.
It's strange, it seems arbitrary for them to do something like that. What they did was they had a paper review, and they hired a doctor just to look over some records, notes, but never meet with her, never actually know anything else about her. And based on the paper review, their doctor said she wasn't having psychiatric symptoms that impaired her.
All right. So what did you have to do in order to get this claim reversed?
So it was interesting. Some background about her is that she was dealing with a heart problem leading into this. She had a leaky heart valve. She had tachycardia. So she already had been experiencing that. She didn't think that it was disabling. She was working with this problem. When her heart problem was coupled with the mental health issues that she was suffering from, it became very disabling for her. So what we were able to do is get her cardiac records, find out about her cardiac history, and then reach out to her cardiologist and let him know what was going on with her mental health issues, the heart palpitations, the heavy breathing, and the trouble that she was having. Her cardiologist was able to step forward and help us by indicating how her heart problem, when combined with her mental health problem, was disabling.
Yeah, and it's very common in a lot of the cardiac cases we have that the stress exacerbates the cardiac condition. The disability insurance companies will kick back on that and be like, one has nothing to do with the other. But there's so many cases I can't even begin to tell you where I've submitted extensive literature talking about the effects on a cardiac condition caused by stress-induced activities. So it's not a question of which came first, the chicken or the egg. They kind of go hand in hand. And it's rare almost to see a cardiac condition that doesn't have some kind of anxiety or depression component attached to it.
Certainly it would exacerbate the cardiac problem, and that's exactly what was happening to our client. She hadn't thought to make mention of the cardiac problem. She thought she was only experiencing mental health issues, not realizing that when coupled with that cardiac problem, it was severely disabling for her.
So until she retained you, there was no presentation of any cardiac issues at all?
Correct. She hadn't mentioned it at all. It was solely mental health based.
So what did you do in your appeal to win this claim and get benefits paid again?
So what we were able to do is bring the cardiologist on board, get the cardiologist to fill out an APS, an attending physician statement, to be able to say, these are the cardiac issues that she has. And when she's experiencing her mental health issues and symptoms, it is affecting her heart and affecting her ability to be able to work.
An interesting dynamic here is when you won the claim, now you're going to continue to monitor the claim for her. Do you anticipate that they're going to argue that this is a disabling condition caused by a mental condition or a physical condition?
I do. I think they're going to try to limit this to mental health, where she could only maximally be paid 24 months worth of benefits. But certainly we're going to continue to pursue based on her cardiac problems.
So do you feel as if you've shaped it now as a physical condition because of the cardiac condition?
Yes, I think now it's both physical and mental, whereas when she first applied for this, it was solely mental health based.
It's super important for people to understand how you have to have this coordinated effort between the cardiologist and the psychologist or psychiatrist to be able to show what we say is the total morbidity of the claimant, meaning it's the complete package. You can't just look at my anxiety and depression without looking at my physical symptoms. So basically, it's like the psychiatric conditions are secondary to the cardiac. And the reason, or even if they're not secondary, which we often argue, the cardiac on its own is disabling. And that's how you get around that 24-month limitation.
And it's always important for us to take everything into account, all health ailments, whether they be mental health, physical, because ultimately it creates the whole picture of what's going on with the person.
So, for a tip for people out there who are watching this video and going, hey, I'm in that same boat. I have some mental nervous conditions. I also may have a cardiac condition. What that person and what our client, which I know you've told our client, what our client needs to do is continuously follow up with the doctor. In this situation where we know they're going to be reviewing the claim again at the 24-month mark, if the doctor says come every 6 weeks, you've got to go every 6 weeks. If you're seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist, you've got to have some kind of therapy once a month. If it's recommended to take meds, you must be taking the meds. But more important than that, you have to keep going back to the doctor and keep documenting the complaints that you're having that would relate to why you can't do the duties of her particular job.
Absolutely, it's very important, and it's definitely important to stay current with all of your care and all of your doctor's opinions.
Well, congratulations on this Hartford long-term disability victory. If you're someone out there who has a Hartford long-term disability insurance claim, feel free to reach out to Jason or myself. No matter where you live in the country, we are available to assist you and will always provide you with a free initial phone consultation.